Melissa.
I'm Lizette.
I'm Natalie.
I'm Liliana.
Okay, and we evaluated Healthy Living Center, which focuses on obesity awareness. And really quickly, I want to cover a difference between overweight and obesity. Overweight is for addresses excess of body weight for a particular height from fat, muscle, bone, water, and a combination of all those factors. As obesity is defined as having excess body fat, so it's just body fat. A lot of people are confused between them both. Okay, the need problem the agency addresses is that child and adolescent obesity is a growing concern in the United States. Nearly a third of youth are overweight or obese, accounting for more than 23 million children and teenagers. Obese children are at higher risk of obesity into adulthood, health problems, diseases, depression, and low self-esteem, and a lot of those also come from bullying and other things like that that may happen to these children. The prevalence of obesity is rising faster among Blacks and Hispanic Latino children. Okay, the background. Children suffering from obesity ranging from ages 5 to 18 in the Orange County area. What provides obesity and disease awareness, nutrition and health education and guidance and support to parents of children and children suffering from obesity. The program is a one-year program. It starts September 1st of 2013 through August 30th of 2014. And it's in Orange County in the city of Anaheim. The purpose is to reduce child and adolescent obesity, increase healthy living, and promote higher self-esteem. By offering workshops, classes, activities that address the issue for families to participate in. Okay, this chart shows a weight status among children aged 2 through 19 by age and sex. I'm sorry. Okay, what it covers body mass index, which is a ratio of weight to height squared, and it correlates to the body fat. Weight status among children through to 19 by sex and age. Underweight would be on the 5th percentile, and normal weight is between the 5th and the 84th percentile. Overweight is between the 85th and 94th percentile, and obesity is on the 95th percentile. The highest numbers of obesity are among boys and girls of ages 6 through 11 and 12 through 19. And compared between the boys have a higher percent of 20.3 for ages 6 through 11 and 20.1 for ages of 12 through 19. Girls 6 through 12 show a percent of 15.7 and ages 12 through 19 of 16.8, which is about 4 to 5 points lower than the boys. Okay, so let's see. This next chart, it's a little bit confusing and it's a bit dark, I apologize for that, but here on the right-hand side it shows these PIRs, which is a poverty income ratio. So this chart is covering the prevalence of obesity among children and adolescents ages also 2 through 19 by poverty income ratio, sex, and race. And those numbers are kind of hard to understand, so it takes a little bit of math, but I'll break it down. Basically, the dark blue meant greater or equal than 350%. The green is greater or equal to 130, but not including 350%. That's just a different way of saying anything between 130 and 349%. And the gray is anything less than 130%. What we found in this graph was that it was noticeably that the highest rates are among Mexican American boys. That's at 22.9, 25.3, and the 24.0. And non-Hispanic girls at 22.6, 21.0, and 25.1. However, the lowest rates were among non-Hispanic white boys and girls. And while it's all still a concern, we're thinking it's probably because they're exposed to more health education, or they probably share a common diet or foods consumed by that specific group or ethnicity. Okay, and this next graph, charts, it's the first one shows child obesity percentage of children with BMIs of 30 or higher. And what you can see here is how it's growing. It didn't decrease. The yellow is ages 6 through 11, and the green is 12 through 19. And if you notice, in 1976 through 1990, the children ages 6 through 11 were at 7%, in ages 12 through 19 at 5%. But by 1988 and 1994, they evened out at 11%. And by 1999 to 2000, they were at 15.3 and 15.5. So it's just increasing, it's not dropping. And this next chart, it's the cost burden of obesity-related conditions to society and health industry. And this is in the billions. And this is direct cost to indirect cost. And some of these diseases are heart disease, right, I can't even say it. Gallbladder disease, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and high blood pressure. Unfortunately, it doesn't include mental health services as well. And but as you can see, the cost is really high when in reality preventive programs like this one would be most cost effective compared to the long-term effects that are in the billions. Oops.
Okay, so program inputs. Staff and volunteers facilitate weekly workshops like eating healthy and exercise routines, but also the workshops discuss the importance of obesity and health issues, and then the importance of living a healthy life. Supervisors meet with volunteers and staff on a weekly basis, and then staff meetings are conducted bi-weekly. There's quarterly fitness tests that are held, and classes are provide obesity and disease information, physical education, but also they also provide information about how to eat, how to maintain healthy eating habits, and they're there for emotional support as well. Classes are held 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and classes are 1 hour long and are led by 1 staff and 1 volunteer member. So members are children and the parents who suffer from or who are battling with obesity, and meetings are held at the Living Center in Orange County, Anaheim. How many people will be served? 200 individuals between the ages of 5 and 18 suffering from obesity in Orange County and participate weekly. Percent expected to show improvement, 75 will show improvement percent. How did you measure the presenting problems? We did Beck Depression Inventory, Roseberg Self-Esteem Scale, Attendance, BMI, which stands for Body Mass Index, and fitness test results. And then how do you measure the outcomes with non-equivalent control group design? And the time series of depression, self-esteem, attendance, BMI, and fitness test results.
Okay, measurement instruments. What we chose to use was a quasi-experimental design, the time series design, and we chose this design because we're measuring quarterly over a year-length period, and we're measuring quarterly measurements of BMI, self-esteem, and depression, and we're using the Beck Depression Inventory Scale to monitor the depression, measure the depression, the Rosenberg Self-Esteem Scale to monitor and measure their self-esteem, and then we're using a fitness test, and that will see if they're measure their BMI, their body mass index. Program attendance, it will be measured quarterly. Decreased attendance will signify attrition, and increased attendance indicates the participation retention, or that either we got new participants into the program. Data analysis. The time series design will be used to analyze the following variables, which would be the independent variables of the weekly workshops and classes that we hold, eating healthy, exercise, obesity and health issues, and living a healthy life, and also the fitness test. And the dependent variables will be the BMI, the fitness level, self-esteem, and depression. The evaluation design. The design we chose to use was a quasi-experimental design, like I said, and we chose the time series design because we're measuring quarterly. Why we didn't choose another design, like the single experimental design, was because that it decreases validity instead of increasing validity which are the time series design does for us. And the data we collected quarterly and upon exiting the program, all active members, they'll participate in the evaluation. And the validity threats, are the maturation. We think that maybe when the children get older, their eating habits may change because they're teens and they may start going out with friends and eating junk food and stuff. Attrition, children tend to drop out, or peer pressure, or it has a stigma, they're gain weight, they're in our program trying to lose weight. And reactivity, the reactivity was they might perform at a certain level when their parents are around or someone's there watching them. And intervening effect of low parental education. The parents may not be educated, and if they're not educated enough to teach their children or teach them healthy eating habits, then therefore their children won't have them either. And intervening effect of low SES. They may not be able to afford healthy food. Dollar menu is really cheap. Get a quick cheeseburger at McDonald's, way to go. That's it.
Okay, and here's a graph showing how upon entry, this measures 200 participants, and it shows that 75% showed an improvement and showed healthy weight loss, as well as increased self-esteem, lowered depression, and had healthy fitness exams. For example, the yellow line here, it shows that upon entry, they had low weight loss, so they had a high BMI, and then it increased to 2.5% by the second quarter. And the quarters are measured the first quarter is September, October, November, which is when our program starts in September. And then the second quarter, December, January, and February, and so on each quarter. So you can see that there's a decrease in weight in the yellow line. And in the green line, you're able to see that they started with low self-esteem upon entry, and then as they exit the program with a higher self-esteem. And depression, they start with a high level of depression, and then their depression starts lowering with each quarter. And for the dark blue line, it shows that they started with poor scores in the beginning for their fitness test, and they exited the program with high fitness scores. And for our recommendations, we would suggest that they administer fitness assessments monthly instead of quarterly to check the progress, because they can be making progress every month, and that would allow them to see that they're doing something correct and that they're actually improving and getting losing weight and learning a lot from the classes that we offer. And then we would use a control group to compare BMI, fitness, and depression versus BMI, fitness, and self-esteem. We want to see how those two differ, like depression versus self-esteem. And for program improvements, we would want to increase outreach in Orange County, and I would say as well as LA County, because it would be better if our program gets known in LA County as well. And we would want to partner up with external community resources like education and medical. We would also want the Healthy Living Center to be implemented into other regions of California. So of course, the better, the more our program is known, the more awareness on childhood obesity, and the better our results. And then before we open it up to any questions, I believe she already passed out a handout. And I think this is an important handout because it depends on what part of the handout you're looking at, but I would like to start with the nutrition labels, which are very important because sometimes we don't even know how to read nutrition labels, and it's a simple guide for you guys, and it decodes the products on the shelf. So for example, if you start on number 1, you're able to see that a single serving size and how much that serving size has, like how many calories. In this example, 1 slice of bread has 160 calories. So if you think about it, if you're going to eat 2 slices of bread, that's going to be 320 calories. And a lot of people just say, oh, it has 160 calories. That's a low amount of calories. Not knowing that you have to look at the serving size as well. And then you want to get enough of those vitamins, and it tells you on number 4, get enough of these nutrients, so vitamin A and so on. And of course you want to limit the total fat, so you're looking for like less total fat, less saturated fat, and of course less sodium, which helps with lowering high blood pressure. And for the other side, it's just 10 healthy cooking tips that a lot of people might not know. So for example, when cooking your veggies, you don't want to overcook them, because veggies have a lot of important nutrients, and when you overcook them, they start losing their color. That means they're losing their nutrients. And then number 4, some people don't really like to eat fruit, so maybe just do a smoothie and you get your 4 to 5 fruits in that smoothie, and it's good. And for number 6, when people usually get canned vegetables, they think, oh, I'm eating healthy, I'm eating vegetables, but you have to look at the salt as well. So try to get no salt added veggies instead of the usual, which is very high sodium on each can. And then try to choose whole grains, so whole grain oatmeal, whole grain flour, and whole grain cornmeal. And that's basically it. Do you guys have any questions?